we live yet? Let's get my little thing lined up here. Oh, I keep seeing an ant on the wall. All right, this should be working by now. Okay, what am I going to talk about today? I'm not even going to wait till anyone shows up. So, the other day, I got this comment from someone. And I don't mean to single out this person. I get stupid comments like this all the time. And the comment itself isn't important. But let me just say what it was. It was something basically like, Jaimie, you think you're so high and mighty and better than everyone because you left society, but you keep going back to society to meet people. So that must mean you think it's the best. You think the world is great because you left society thinking it was garbage, but now your life is so horrible. You just have to keep coming back for more. And oh, just the fact that this person could say this just so blatantly and just okay. First, let me explain what the problem with this, why it's such a stupid thing to say, and then I'll get into why this is a problem and how it relates to AI and stuff like that. Okay, so if I'm in a society and I leave it because I think there are problems with it, and I try to do something else, but then I go back into that society to try to meet people. And that means that I actually approve of that society, then that's like saying firefighters, when they run into a burning building, they love the fire. They think the fire is great. Otherwise, why would they keep going back in there? All those people in World War II who ran into Nazi Germany, they must have been doing that because they loved not the Nazis, right? That's what it was. All those French people and the British who stormed Germany in World War II, why would they go there unless they just loved Hitler, right? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And the whole premise of the argument is that, well, a duck is a duck unless I don't want it to be. In that case, a duck is a potato. Right? You just decide that anything in reality is you just make up the truth. Anything in reality is true as long as you like that. But the moment you don't like it and it doesn't agree with your position because you want to hate on someone or whatever, well, that ceases to be true. And now fantasy is reality. It's the same thing with this whole weird gender thing and whatever. And so I didn't mean to single out that particular comment. I get idiotic comments like this all the time, right? Like people just saying that just the dumbest things. And it always amazes me that they can type out this big long message and it's so dumb and they can get to the end and it makes no sense whatsoever. And they can actually push the send button and just be like, yeah, I've done a good job. And I started wondering why does this happen? Why is it that someone can do something so obviously stupid, right? Now I want a potato. I want a potato too. That sounds delicious. Tomaters, what did you walk into? Yeah, okay, let me just keep going. Okay, so why is it possible for so many people to do such incredibly stupid things? And I think it's because a lot of people have no real life experience. Because when you have real life experience, reality actually matters. Like when you really deal with the real world, if you're not respecting reality, then reality just stomps all over you. Like if you're saying, well, here comes a car, it's about to hit me, but I'm just going to decide it's a little birdie instead. You're still going to get nailed by that car and hurt, right? You can't just make up fantasy when you're dealing with the real world. And the thing is, so many people don't deal with the real world. And they just go around doing these dumb things and saying these dumb things. And it's because our world has gotten so easy to survive in which it is easy to survive. Oh, prepositions. Anyway, the world it's gotten so easy to survive today that you don't really have to do anything. It doesn't really matter what you do. Like you're always going to get food. You're not going to freeze to death. Someone's going to save you. Everything's going to be fine. You don't really have to take any responsibility on yourself. And when people go along with that and just take no responsibility, then they can start thinking in these fantastical ways, and they're never forced to face reality and start making decisions that make sense and thinking things that make sense. And people are so ready to give up any personal responsibility because it's hard. I talked to this lady a little while ago, and you know, her family, some of her family wanted to move off grid, but she didn't really want to. And I was like, oh, well, why not? She's like, well, you know, there's a lot of cool things about living off grid and all that, but I really want, you know, a real toilet. And I was just like, so put in whatever toilet you want. You can have whatever toilet you want. Just do whatever you want. And she said, yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, I have to do it. So she didn't even have a problem with the toilet. Her problem was that she didn't want to have any personal responsibility. She didn't want to have any say in what she was doing, even if it meant that if she took that responsibility, she could do whatever she wants. She could have everything she wants if she took the responsibility on herself. But it doesn't, and so many people have this same thought. Like, you take the average person and you tell them, look, you can have a pretty crappy life, but you have zero responsibility. Or you can have whatever life you want, but you are 100% responsible for it. You have to make it all happen. Most people today will take the crappy life with zero responsibility because it's easier. I don't have to do anything. And I can think the dumb things where it's like, I can just make up fantasy and just pretend it's real. I can say I'm a girl or a boy, or say I'm 12 and a half feet tall, and it doesn't matter because, you know, it just doesn't matter because I have no personal responsibility. And when I think about in my life, the things that have made me grow the most in my life, it's always been the times when no one was there to save me. No one was there to help me. I had to 100% rely on myself. And I could think of a whole bunch of situations in my past where I was just totally screwed. And I was like, I do not have the capabilities to deal with this situation. But by the time I dealt with the situation, I had developed, and sometimes this happens in minutes. It's like you gotta change fast. It's a do or die situation. You gotta learn and grow and change. Sometimes you gotta do it right there, and something changes, and you learn and grow and get a new perspective on life, and that's how you grow. And sometimes it's something that happens over a long period of time. But like all these different experiences in my past, where I had to face stark realities, that was when I learned the most and gained the most. And if we let AI take over the world and do everything for us, people are not gonna have that incentive anymore. Nothing's gonna push us to learn and grow. And then everyone's just gonna be left with whatever internal motivation they have to try to be a better person. And everyone has some level of internal motivation to try to be a better person. But it is not enough. It is not enough. And I can even think about my past. I have to admit, I'm a little ashamed of this, but if my life was easy, I think I would be a really crappier person right now if my life had been easy. Because I think of a lot of times when I was a kid where I thought, oh, it'd be cool if I just had $1 billion and I could do whatever I want. And it wasn't until I went through a lot of struggles that I realized what an idiotic thing even just to think that is. But if I'd never gone through all these struggles, I could today be thinking, well, I could just get a bunch of money and everything's fixed. Yay! Right? Anyway. All right. I think that's pretty good. Right now I'm cooking. So let me go check my thing is still cooking. I'll be back in like 10 seconds. Hold on. I'll be right back. Oh crap. Was that like 11 and a half seconds? I don't know. Anyway, let's see what's going on with the comments here. Nepsy, how's it going, man? Ken, what's up? Mr. Landfall. Hey guys, hey Jaimie, I've been looking forward to your videos. Well, thanks, Sean. What did I walk into, Tomaters? Oh, you walked right into it. And Sean wants a potato, yeah. People just trying to get you riled up. I don't care about people getting riled up. Okay. There is one kind of troll that really just irritates the shit out of me. And some people are going to be insulted by this, but it's the troll who says, "Oh, don't respond to the trolls. They're just trying to. Don't respond to them. Don't even say anything. You're just defending yourself, Jaimie. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. Don't respond to those trolls." Look, if I want to respond to a troll, I can respond to a troll, and I don't feel like I have to answer to those trolls. But if there's a troll who says something and I think maybe I can say something that there's a chance they might actually hear, I'm going to say it. Why wouldn't I say that? But then there's the trolls who were like, this is the worst trolls who are like, don't talk to the trolls. Don't talk to the trolls. Oh my God, they're the worst trolls. And I'll tell you this, sometimes talking to the trolls works. I've gotten messages several times from people who were like, Jaimie, I used to troll people all the time, but then one day you responded to my really super trolly comment. And at first I was pissed off, but then I realized, no, you were right for, saying what you said. And, it just made me think twice. And now I'm just not a troll anymore because it was just a stupid thing to do. Thanks for helping me get out of that phase. I've gotten that message several times. So talking to the trolls is not a waste of time all the time. So quit telling me I shouldn't talk to the trolls. I'm just encouraging them and stuff. Anyway. I'm working on making this is Ken. I'm working on making a house with turn-of-the-century appliances and amenities. Everything will be by hand. Hopefully I can Airbnb it and give people an appreciation for the time they live. That sounds like a kind of cool idea. So you make everything like it was 100 years ago, tell people they can live in it for like a week, and then they can go back to, just flipping a switch and having all this magical stuff turn on. Maybe they'll appreciate it more. That's not a bad idea, man. That's kind of a cool idea. I like it. TDH smiles. Joe Blow, what's up? Gypsy Tanker. Okay, it was only 2 seconds. Oh, when I went to check my food, it was more than 2 seconds. It looks like Jaimie is gearing up to process some trees. I'm gearing up to process something. Oh my gosh. So yeah, just this last year, I've dealt with so much. I can swear on this channel, right? Yeah, I can swear on this channel. This is my swearing channel. I've dealt with so much fucking bullshit this year from people who should not be giving me bullshit. Fucking hell. And, I'm kind of getting to the point where, at first I felt like I was just being dragged, by this bullshit, and I was drowning behind a boat. And then after a while, I was like, I gotta start fighting back against this thing. And then I got to the point where I was like, all right, this thing is dragging me through the water and I'm suffocating and drowning. Let me just go like this. And then I was like, too much resistance for this thing to keep dragging me. And I was just fighting back, And now I'm kind of at the point where I feel like my head's above water and I'm starting to go back in my own direction. And the things that have been dragging me around, I'm kind of getting them under control and being like, no, further. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I still have a lot of freaking unnecessary stress right now, but yeah, I feel like I'm getting out ahead of it. I'm starting to get ahead of it a little. Although it would be better if it just freaking disappeared. All this unnecessarily stupid stress. Okay, it looks like Jaimie is gearing up to process some trees. I'm looking forward to seeing the process, including the upper floors of your dome. Dude, I am so excited to get the upper floors of my dome built. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, my kids were practicing handstands and other gymnasticy stuff and doing all this jump rope and stuff. And, there's enough space to do it down here on the first floor, even with all the crap I have in here, But man, when I get the third floor done, the gymnasium, it's just going to be just flat floor all the way across, nothing in the way except, some crash mats and maybe some ropes to swing around on and stuff. Oh, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to that. And then the second floor is going to have the running track. Oh, it's going to be so good. So yeah, I am in fact gearing up to process some trees. Tomorrow, that's actually what I'm starting to do tomorrow, but not quite at the cutting trees part yet, because there's a lot of stuff to do before that. It's like when you look at a house and you think about how it's built. You always have to think about how like the huge amount of work goes into the foundation before any of the parts you actually see. There's always tons of work that goes into just getting it started. So tomorrow I'm doing some of the just getting it started work. Let's see. Wendy says, if you respond to trolls, I usually assume it is a bot, thus answering them is a way of programming AI to be better, hopefully. Well, I mean, if it seems like it's a bot, I don't usually answer it. But a lot of times, like people will have what it seems like they think is well thought out reasons why I'm dumb or not doing something right, and then they'll throw in some unnecessary insult, and you can, I don't know, maybe the bots are getting so good that I can't tell the difference, but I kind of feel like I can still tell if it's a human being. Anyway, I found out most these antiques are still working and better built and cheaper than modern things, plus the history with it too. Yeah, man, things from 100 years ago, they still work. I remember, I haven't been there in a long time, but I remember my grandparents, they lived on a farm, and outside behind their house was a well, like a big hole in the ground. And above the well, there was a cast iron pump. And that thing worked. Like the kids, like we would go out there and we'd start pumping that thing. I have no idea how old it was, but no one had used it for anything, real in decades. But it was just, left there, and the kids would play with it, and it worked so well. It was amazing. And I love old tools. Oh my God! Anytime I see like old pliers, hammers, anything like that, I want it. I want stuff from like the 50s and the 1920s and all that stuff. Best tools ever. Video quality is damn good lately. Well, that's great. All right, let's see. Is the video quality good? You can see my nose hairs and my ear hairs. Do I get to pull them out and stuff? Oh, God. Do I have any pimples or anything? I don't know. I'm too old for pimples. Pimples are like, I'm not going on this old guy. Okay. Wendy says at Ken and Jaimie, if you make everything in life classic, you won't miss the modern. You'll not want to go back to the efficient, loud, complicated real life. Oh, the inefficient, loud, complicated real life. Yeah. It's not even real life. I was talking about earlier. It's just this, people live in these weird fantasy worlds, and it's just, this is one of the reasons I don't have plumbing coming into my house. This is going to be a convoluted explanation, but basically, I want to appreciate water that I use. I don't want me or my kids to just be like turning on water and just being like, but just turn it on and waste it. It doesn't matter, right? No, I want them to know that you have to go get the water. It's not that far to get. It's just right over there. But there's a step to indicate that this stuff is not just magically coming in. It's not unlimited, and it works. The cool thing is it works. Yeah. All that modern stuff, it's always breaking all the time. So annoying. I had wondered about your bathroom situation and if you had an outhouse or what. I'm glad you did an episode on the tile job. Yeah, everyone always wants to know about the bathroom. Not everyone, but that's always one of the big questions. If you live on a boat or you live off grid or any kind of unusual living situation, there's always a lot of questions about what's the bathroom? What's the toilet like? And this is one of the reasons I always call city people toilet people, just poking a bit of fun. But yeah, I decided to just show it. How much hotter is it at the third floor level? I've been up there. I haven't noticed any significant heat difference between the floors, but I also haven't spent like a whole day upstairs or anything, And the ceiling, the roof is styrocrete, like that thick. So it's all insulated really well. So it's not like it gets really hot up there or anything. But on a sunny day, it'll be warmer up there, I'm sure. But I don't think it's going to be that much. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see. But you know, I haven't. I've been up there for significant periods of time, just not like all day, and I haven't noticed anything anything problematic in terms of heat. Let's see. I'd wondered about your bathroom. Yeah, yeah. Is this live? This is live vision on TV. Yes, this is live. And if you may notice I'm probably answering comments from like 10 minutes ago. It's because I always give this like little monologue at the beginning of my thing, so I end up a little bit behind on comments. But I like that because once I get to the end of comments, then I'm sitting there like, oh, I don't know what to say. I mean, I could come with like a list of things to talk about or something, but it seems to work pretty well if I just talk a little bit at the beginning, let a few comments build up, and then I could just kind of go through them, you know. Have you tiled your kitchen? I have not. I heard you mention it during your poo video. Who? Wait, are you calling my videos poo? No, I'm in the kitchen right now. I've not tiled it. It's just concrete. But I don't know. I almost did it today, actually. I thought about it, but then I was like, no, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to take a rest day, which I like never do. The rest days it's hard for me to take a rest day. So it wasn't like a total rest day. I still did some stuff, but you know, I kind of made a conscious decision to try not to get too involved in anything because this week I'm going to start going on something pretty hard. And I've been working really hard lately. You know, I felt like I should just kind of chill out a little bit for today. But it does definitely make me anxious trying to have like a full rest day. Yeah. I mean, like partly just because I have so much momentum and I'm going. Does your new bathroom go into the fart tank? Yes, it does. I imagine you will work on making it a fuel source. So I'll stop asking about it. Yeah, I mean, supposedly it is a fuel source. I just have to connect the pipe to it, and it should work. I just haven't, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I'll get to it at some point. Like I guess I don't really need it. You know, I have a stove that works pretty well, and my stove makes smoke, although it doesn't make much smoke now. But you know, if I'm cooking and I notice some bugs around, I'll throw a piece of wet wood in there and then it'll make a bit of smoke. And it really doesn't take much smoke to make all the bugs just go away. It's very nice. It's very nice having that situation. Let's see. Liked the axe. Are you oiling the wood and metal? With what if you are? Okay. Well, I did oil the metal. Here, let me show you what I got. Oh, hold on. So, whatever this is, Afloha Toto. Super penetrante multi-use. It's just multi-use penetrating oil. So that I sprayed the metal with. Yeah, I did that on the video. I haven't done anything to the wood yet. The wood was not totally dry, so I don't want to seal the moisture, and I want to make sure it dries all the way. Here, let me grab it. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love this axe. It's so nice. I haven't had a full-size axe in a while. Oh, let's get some nice reflection there. Oh, yeah. The only axe I've had for a while was this one here. Now, Fiskars makes a really nice axe. However, this one is a short handle one because I don't even remember where I got it. But wherever I got it, I couldn't find the full length handle one. So this has been my axe for a while, which, oh, it's so short. And then finally it rusted enough that it popped this part open. So it's, you know, you still play with it a little, but it's basically done. So after that happened, and I remembered I had that axe head sitting out in the yard that when he was at a friend's place and he was getting rid of it because the the handle broke and it had been sitting out for a while. It was all rusty. So I was like, well, I'll take that. And I brought it home and just left it outside. It was already covered in rust anyway. And it was been out there for years. And then when that axe blew, I was like, well, let me go fix that one up. And look how long the handle is. Oh, the handle's so nice. Maybe it's because I have really long arms. I do have really long arms. You may have noticed they're like monkey arms. Anyway, this is the longest handled axe I've ever seen. I'm sure other tall people also have long handled axe, but it's longer than the ones you get at the store. The store ones are like, I don't know, somewhere around there. But yeah, it's so nice having it extra long. Like that's the length I want. Very happy with that axe. All right, what do we got here? Like the axe. Oh yeah, what would you put on the wood here? The wood, I believe, is red mangrove. And you're not supposed to cut the mangroves, but this is one that fell down on its own, was termite damaged. Although this chunk of wood had no termite damage in it. But it's still a little bit wet, I think. Yeah, I think it's still a little bit moist. But yeah, once it dries out totally, I'll want to put something on it. Some kind of, I don't know, everyone's probably going to say, just get linseed oil. Maybe I should get some linseed oil. Or maybe I'll just wax it. I don't know. I could paint it. Maybe I just won't do anything because it's inside all the time anyway. Greetings from Costa Rican. I think you mean Costa Rica. Hey Frank, how's it going, man? Yeah, I'm just south of the border from you down here. By the way, you're looking extra buff. All that manual labor is paying off. Well, thanks, man. Okay, so in the last year, I've had a lot of really stressful shit going on. Just totally unnecessary shit. That's fucking hell, man. And when I felt like I was just drowning in this crap, I was like, I got to turn this around somehow. I got to figure out a way to get my head back and get my spirit back. And I was like, you know what I can do? I can start getting in better shape physically. And this is something that people often overlook when they're under a lot of stress, or there's something in their life they don't like, or just any kind of stress. Let's just put it under like there's some kind of problem, some kind of stress. A lot of times you can greatly help the problem just by getting some exercise, getting a lot of exercise and making yourself physically feel good. Because if you physically feel good and strong and capable and competent, that starts affecting, your mentality and, your spirit. It can really lift your spirits by just being stronger and healthier physically. So that's something that I would totally recommend to anyone who's in a stressful situation. A lot of times to really fix the problem, you have to deal with some kind of mental hurdles you have to deal with, or whatever. But if you take care of yourself physically, eat well and exercise a lot, it really helps. Partly because your brain is part of your physical body, and if you have more energy in general in your body, you have more energy to think, you can deal with more, you can handle more. So yeah, I have definitely been putting more effort into physical activities. So my digging, I do this digging almost every day. Now I actually time it. I'm like, all right, 10 wheelbarrows of dirt, and I time it. And the fastest I've done it so far is 1 hour and 17 minutes. And yesterday it was 2 days ago it was like 1 hour and 57. I don't know. It's usually around 2 hours of just like going as fast as I can. Although, I do extra push-ups and sit-ups and stuff between each wheelbarrow. Being a Westerner myself, Bob says, I have to ask a question about the pipe near your toilet. Is it for bad air or water flush? Okay, so my toilet's right there. Well, here, it's right there. So let me just show you. Open the bathroom window. And we're going to go look at what he's talking about. Turn my camera around. Oh, where's the camera? Okay, it's there. Okay, so here's my floor toilet, right? And here's the pipe that he's talking about. And it's a 3-inch pipe that goes down And I need to get a 3-inch cap to go on it. I mean, right now it has an elbow and then it's blocked off with like a sheet of plastic and another pipe stuck in just to make it airtight. But my drain is basically this 3-inch pipe that goes down and then out to the, the septic thing. And this goes down, then comes back up, like an S curve, and then just goes into that pipe. And then my sink here, it has a drain down there that has an S curve under it, and it goes under the floor and also goes into that pipe. So this is just the main drain for, I mean, there's only 2 things connected to it, but this is the main drain for my house. And if I wanted to put any other drainage things, I would connect it into this. And the reason I left it sticking up through the floor is just so I could get to it. And because, if at some point there's some horrible clog down the pipe, and trying to fix it through this doesn't fix it, or fix it through the sink drain doesn't fix it, I can pop this off and, shove something down there or whatever. Also, if there's, I don't know, some other, like, say there's some plumbing that I want to put on the second floor or something. I can connect right into that above the ground, and then I don't have to jackhammer into the ground. So it's not for any magical purpose, just in case and for possible connections in the future. It doesn't actually do anything. Hopefully it never does anything. But yeah, if I ever have a problem, I might have to deal with that in some way. I don't know. Okay, Wendy has a question. The method you used on the tiles, does it only work when the substrate is concrete? And was it concrete you used instead of mortar and grout? Okay. Well, what I used, mortar is basically concrete just with no big chunks. Okay, so what I used is cement and sand, roughly 50-50, like the same amount of sand and cement, and then enough water to make it peanut buttery. So that's the second question. Okay, so the method I use for the tiles, and for some reason this is the method I like, this is my favorite way of doing it, is just slopping way too much mortar on the spot where I'm going to put the tile, and basically smear it out to where I think the tile is going to be, and have like twice as much mortar as I think I'm going to need, and smear it up, like mound it up a little bit in the middle, so that when I put the tile down, it hits the middle and then everything smushes out from there. So it pushes out all the bubbles and then just shove it down. That works really well for making sure there are no bubbles. And the mix I used on those tiles was pretty liquidy, just because the tiles are like 2 foot by 2 feet, like 60 centimeters by 60 centimeters. They're pretty big tiles. So if the mortar isn't pretty liquidy, it gets too solid. Trying to shove it down, it just gets solid. So that's why it was so thin. For smaller tiles, I would use thicker. When I got toward the end, when I had smaller tiles, I used thicker. Okay, now do you have to do that, or does that only work on concrete? Oh, and another thing is, when doing it on concrete, I know the concrete's going to absorb some moisture, so that's another reason that I made my mortar like wetter than normal. But you could use the same method on, well, it depends what you're doing, but like on various things. Like if you're doing it on, what do you tile on normally? I remember I did a shower once, and I've done several showers, but the typical way to do it, if I remember right, like a million years ago, I was like a contractor and worked on like normal houses, like in crazy ways. At least ways that I think were crazy, like mixing concrete and wood. That doesn't make sense to me, because the wood's going to rot and the concrete's going to last forever. Anyway, so there was like a wood floor, and then this cement board, and then like a plastic, like this thick rubbery plastic sheet above that, and then you put the tiles down. So yeah, you could do it on that. Although in that situation, you kind of rely on the level of the surface below the tiles. So you don't want to make your mortar too thick because you'll lose communication with that bottom layer. I don't know. You could totally do it. Yeah. I guess, I mean, I like it because it gets all the bubbles out. The grout is done at the same time, which I like for two reasons. One, because it's done. You don't have to go back and do a separate thing. And two, it makes it so the grout and the stuff below is all one piece. Like it's just stronger that way. And when you grout after the fact, you're going to end up with little air pockets, right? Like you can try really hard to knock it in, but like you're going to end up with little air spots. But this way, it just does a really good job. You don't get fancy grout this way, unless you color your entire mortar or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you should be able to use that method on different substrates. You'd have to give me an example of what kind of substrates you're talking about. Oh yeah, WD-40 clone. What was the next comment? Vision on TV. Yeah, it's basically WD-40 clone. Afloja todo. Super penetrante. They actually do have a better WD-40 clone, which is SD-40, and it's got the blue can, like it looks like WD-40, except for that S. It's just SD-40. They could have made it like MD-40. That would have been funny. Okay. Joe Cool says, I had a receding hairline like you and started shaving it bald like 3 weeks ago. People say I'm looking more handsome. Have you tried it? I've shaved my head a few times. You know, I don't really care that much about my hair. I just have other things to do. And if someone cares that much about my hair, I probably don't care what they think, because they're probably not thinking about anything. I mean, hair is just such a superficial thing. Of course, if I see a bald lady, I'm not going to be as attracted as if she has hair. So maybe I'm just a hypocrite. Anyway, I don't know. I've shaved my head a few times. Yeah. It does look like a mighty axe. It does, isn't it? Oh, I love that. So nice. And the handle's actually thicker the whole way down. Because I've had situations, you know, in the store-bought ones, I don't know, it's like they're trying to make them as thin as possible for comfort or some bullshit. I can swear on this channel, on some bullshit reason. But it really just makes it so it breaks. You know, when you're whacking away, you start whacking really hard, you know, the handle breaks. This handle should last a long time. It's like twice as thick as a store-bought one. Hey, Jaimie, how about music? I love music. Do you listen to it a lot? What's your favorite music song band? I don't listen to music a lot, but I do sometimes. I have a bunch of music on my computer. And then, you know, there's also the internet. Although, whenever I go on the internet and tell it to play something, like, you know, I'll go on like YouTube or something and just type in happy music. Like by the third or fourth song, I'm just like, who chose this crap? And I'll turn it off, you know. But I have like, I don't know, a few hundred songs on my computer. So usually if I turn on the music, it's because one of my kids is like, hey, let's have music. And I'm like, all right. But I like generally like upbeat stuff, like positive stuff. One song I downloaded the other day on purpose is, what's it called? Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. Partly because I just had like one line of the song stuck in my head for like 3 days, which was standing on your mama's porch, thinking I can't wait forever. Oh, but when I look back now, I would always want to be there. Those were the best days of my life. And that's all of the song that I knew. That's all I can remember. So I just got the whole song. I like it. It's a good song, man. Yeah, I like generally upbeat, positive songs. Well, let's see. How do you ventilate the cathedral if needed? Are any windows openable or vents installed? Yeah, like half the windows are openable. There's a vent in the top of the house. Here, let me show you. look up at the roof. Oh God, where's the camera on this thing? Oh, there it is. Okay, if you look way up there, this is really high from me. You can actually see some sky. So that bright part right there is sky. There's 6 little windows in that, what do you call it, a cupola or something? And I still have the scaffolding up there that I used to make the roof so that I can get up there. But up in that cupola, those 6 windows, they're always open. I don't even have anything to close them. Like if I had to close them, I could, but I wanted to have something so any hot air could always get out the top. And then a lot of my windows are not airtight. And I wasn't sure how I felt about that at first, but having lived in this place for a while, I'm glad. And like my front door, it's got like air can get through between the boards and stuff, you know, like there's pretty decent airflow. And often at night, I'll have, maybe not often, sometimes at night, I'll have a little fan in a window by where I sleep that has a screen behind it, so it's not just sucking bugs into the house. But I'll turn that on and just, you know, blow a little fresh air. It's not like a big fan or anything. It's just a few watts, and it blows a bit of breeze in, which is really nice when it's a hot night. Yeah, so there's pretty good ventilation in here. At SB, it's pretty nice. What was SB saying? Oh, it's pretty nice. Wait. Oh, shaving. Yeah, shaving your head bald is extremely freeing and saves so much time in the shower. Oh yeah, having short hair. Oh, it's pretty nice. Yeah, I don't have to wash my hair. It's like nothing. I just shaved my head just before I did this actually, but I didn't shave it down to nothing. I used like, I don't know, with like the 1/4 inch setting or something. I don't know. I like leaving a bit of hair because I don't want to get sunburnt too easily. Oh, someone retracted a message. Oh, what terrible things did you say? Okay, A. Frank says, is that Anne Frank? Oh my gosh, is Anne Frank here? Anne Frank is a writer, right? Oh, would a water maker powered by solar panels be a good water source in your circumstances? I would say no. A water maker based on membrane filtration of salt water used usually in boats. Well, no, because first, those things are like $40,000. Okay, it's not that much. Those things are expensive though. Second, it rains here like 300 inches a year or something like that. Like it rains a lot. Rain, I've never been low on water. I've never been below halfway on my tank. And on my other property over here, there's a stream, so I can just go get water over there, which I've done. I've never gone to the stream to get water for like drinking and cooking and stuff like that. But I have gone to get water for concrete because I won't if I'm even a little bit low on water. Like if my tank is even down to like 3/4, I won't use any water for building. So if I'm making something with concrete, I'll go fill up some jugs from the stream and bring them back. But that rarely happens. It just rains so much here. It rained last night and filled up a whole bunch of buckets I have in front of the house. So right in front of my house, I have like 5 buckets just sitting there under the eaves trough. So whenever it rains, they fill up. And those are the buckets of water I use for things like concrete or just anything I'm using water for in terms of building stuff. Or I'll go out there and just wash my hands in it and whatever. And that's actually usually the water I use to flush the toilet and stuff too. It's just the buckets sitting in front of the house. Yeah, it just rains so much here that yeah, I don't need an extra water thing. Question, you spend a lot of time outside and often shirtless. I'm actually rarely shirtless outside, unless I'm in the shade. But are you diligent with wearing sunscreen, or is that not something you worry about? I almost never wear sunscreen. But whenever I go outside, Oh, okay. If I'm outside in front of my house, there are all these trees up there. I purposely left some trees, and now I have some giant banana trees. There's lots of shade in front of my house, so there's like a little bit of the day where the sun is just blasting right on my front door, but it's very little because there's a palm tree there and some banana trees over here and stuff. So right in front of my house is pretty shady, and all like my front lawn is pretty shady. The only time I'm just being blasted by sun is if I'm up on the top of the hill. If I'm using the lumber mill though, that's got its own. Oh, mosquito. Oh, come here. Oh, if I smack it right now, I'm going to knock this over. Anyway, the point is, I'm usually in the shade. Although, if I am in the sun, I've got my fancy hat, so that keeps my head and my neck from getting burnt. And then I'll always wear a shirt, like at least short sleeves. I'll often wear long sleeve shirts, although I've lost all my long sleeve shirts except one. I have one long sleeve shirt left. I totally missed. Oh, hold on, I gotta put my hat away. You know, the time I actually get sunburned the most is when I drive a boat. Even though I've got a roof, if the sun is coming in sideways, that's when I get sunburned. It'll usually be like a forearm that's just kind of sticking out. You know, like when you're driving in a car and you stick your arm out the window and then, you know, you get a sunburn. That's the biggest source of sunburns for me. Although I try to be conscious of it. And like in a video I did recently, I actually had my shirt off just so I could put it on my one arm. That was the only arm in the sun. So I am definitely conscious of that. I don't want to get all super wrinkly and like, you know, burnt up. Nice to have service hatches for plumbing and electrics. Save lots of effort later. Yeah, and my electrical system is super simple too. So I have an inverter back there, and it has 4 plugs. Well, it has like 4 plugs that are wired into it, you know, just like a standard electrical box with the 4 plugs. And then everything plugs into that. So if I'm using an angle grinder in front of the house, I have a long extension cord that plugs into that, and I drag it out the front of the house. That extension cord will reach anywhere in my house, and will reach outside. And then I have like an extension cord plugged into that has a few outlets. That's where I plugged my computer and stuff. So it's like a very simple electrical system. Like everything can be drawn back to that one box that's connected directly to the inverter. Nothing behind walls or anything like that. So I really like to keep that stuff simple. And I mean, people who use a lot of different electrical stuff all the time would have wires draped all over their house, and it might be a problem. So, you know, then they would want the wires in their house. But I really don't feel the need to have lights all over the place and, you know, 4 plugs in every section of my house. It just doesn't, I just don't need that, you know. I have a little bit of lights just in the places that I use them. And generally speaking, when the sun goes down, I want it to be darker. I don't want like full brightness when the sun goes down, because I want my brain to be like, oh, it's nighttime now. I can start like, you know, turning it down and, you know, getting ready to go to sleep and stuff. Even if I don't go to sleep for a while, it's just like chill out time, you know, in the dark. Let's see. Nice. I made it to this week's Panamanian powwow. How's it going, Art? I totally should be working on assembling a beam in a spidery, cramped crawl space. Oh, but I will procrastinate a little while longer. I totally understand that procrastination, man. Spidery crawl spaces. Not my favorite, especially if you have some of those bad spiders. Here, I haven't found any of the bad spiders like black widows or brown recluses or anything. Oh, so glad I haven't seen any of those. But like, you know, I heard about a guy in California recently who was just dealing with like a black widow infestation. Oh man, he sounded like He was just going through hell. It sounded like such a miserable situation. Joel McKenna has a question. Have you seen any weird lights in the sky the last few days? Wait, the last few days ago. I think you mean the last few days. I have not seen any weird lights in the sky. You mean like at night? I'm trying to think if I've been outside at night. Yesterday I was outside during the sunset. I remember because I was saying to my daughter, "Ooh, look, it's all purple and red over there." But I don't think I was outside at night. I don't know. Maybe tonight I'll take a look, see if I see any weird lights. Should I be? Question: how much do you weigh? You know, the last time I checked my weight was quite a while ago. I'd say I'm. Wait, let me see. I'd say I'm probably about 190. Let me check my legs. Yeah, probably about 190. I'm almost always between 180 and 200 pounds. Like if I'm doing like extra heavy lifting kind of stuff, I'll get up to 200. If I'm doing like a lot of running and stuff, I'll get down to 180. But I've been like 180 to 200 like most of my life, except that one time I wanted to see how big I could get, and I got up to 211, and I was eating so much food, and I was jacked, man, at 211. I mean, I know that's not that big for a lot of people, but for me, that was huge. But yeah, when I got up to 211, I was just eating so much food to try to maintain that weight. I was like, forget it. And then it just went right back down to 200. Oh, and that's all in pounds. Sorry. Like 90 kilograms-ish. I mean, I'm probably like 87 kilograms right now-ish. Something like that. Thanks for the tile answer. My confusion was that I thought the stuff under the tile was more like a glue than pure concrete. Real life subdivision bathroom is tile on plywood floors and counter. Yeah. Oh yeah, real life subdivision. Oh yeah, subdivisions. I forgot about subdivisions. Yeah, I don't like tiling on top of wood, because it's mixing a long-lasting material with a not long-lasting material. And it's actually putting the long-lasting material on top of the not long-lasting material, which means when the not long-lasting material doesn't last any longer, then you have to take off the top. Oh, yeah, I really try to mix materials that are going to last the same amount of time. So if I'm making something with wood, I don't want to make masonry mixed with the wood, because the masonry will outlast the wood by so much. Unless it's something like in my house. I'm building wood second and third floors. But when that wood stops being wood and rots, it should take a super long time because it's interior. But eventually, that wood will stop being wood, or start being rotting wood. But I'll be able to replace it without changing any of the concrete. So that's like if I was going to mix wood and concrete, I would do it in a way like that, where I can replace the replaceable part without having to change the more permanent part. The same with like my boats. Yeah, a couple of my boats have wood floorboards, but they just come off, like you can pick them up and put them down. So nothing else, like the fiberglass doesn't have to be touched. You don't have to do anything with the fiberglass. So if a board rots or breaks through or whatever, you just throw it away, put a new board in. So I'll mix materials of different longevity in that way. Paul Bunyan would be proud of that axe. I do like that axe. Do you have any interest in growing a neem tree? A neem tree, Neem. I have no idea what that is. Should I have a neem tree? Does it have tasty stuff on it? If it has tasty stuff on it, I am all for anything I can eat. All the food trees. I want all the food trees. Let me see if I can remember to look that up. A neem tree. Look up a neem tree, Jaimie. Okay, yeah, I'll totally forget that. Arkansas, who retracted his message. Someone already asked the question. Cool. Maybe just run a dehumidifier off solar and get the water from that if you need water. Yeah, I mean, it could totally do that even, or like a dehumidifier, or even like an air conditioner. It's humid enough here that I could get moisture out of the air. Although, like I said, it rains so much that it hasn't been a problem at all. Now, of course, if the climate changes, I'll have to readjust, do something different. But right now, and for the foreseeable future, as far as I can tell, the rainwater is pretty good. What hot weather leafy greens do you grow that don't just bolt and seed out in the heat? Then I am getting to work. Oh, hold on. Let me get a leaf for you. Hold on. Then I'll be right back. Okay, here are two things from my garden. This is oregano. My kids like to eat this right off the plant. A little bit spicy when you eat it just straight on its own. I actually have another kind of oregano. This is known as the big leaf oregano at my house, and then there's also some little leaf oregano. I'll have that for dinner. And then this is katuk, K-A-T-U-K, and I think the other name for it is Jamaican sorrel, or wait, was that something else? I don't know. I know it as katuk, and you can just eat the leaves. They're kind of like spinachy, I guess. Sometimes I'll take a whole bunch of these leaves, put them in a bowl with some vinegar and like a bit of mustard, make like a salad. And it's not bad. I wouldn't say they're delicious, but they're supposed to be really good for you. So, and they grow super duper easily here. What percentage of your calories do you get from your property now? Maybe coconuts. I get coconuts. Coconuts have a lot of calories in them. I'd say maybe a third, roughly. Ish. Yeah, a third-ish. Oh, I'm about to cut a huge thing of bananas. So probably for the next... All right, I disconnected for a minute there. I have no idea why. I radioed headquarters, or maybe not. Maybe I'm headquarters. Anyway, I radioed headquarters, and they said everything was fine with the internet, but it reconnected. What in the hell was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about bananas, of course. Yeah. So probably for the next 2 or 3 weeks, like half my calories will be coming from my island, just because of that huge thing of bananas. Oh, wait, I've also got a whole bunch of plantains on 2 other trees. I've got 2 big banana bunches that I'm going to cut down one, and by the time we're done eating those ones, the other ones might be ready. And then I also have 2 big bunches of plantains. So I'm going to be eating a lot of banana products in the next few weeks. So maybe more than half of my calories will be coming from my island over the next few weeks. But generally speaking, I'd say probably about a third-ish. Maybe? Yeah. Unless I go fishing, and then it's like a lot more. I need to do more fishing. Did we lose you? You did. You totally lost me. Okay, let me scroll up to see where it was. Handy Helper says, just joined. Did I miss the AI talk? You did. It was at the beginning. AI is going to replace white collar work. I hope not. Hold on. Man, eating leaves while you're talking is not a great idea. Question, the chainmail shirt. Oh, wait, the chainmail shirt, the only thing you still have from Vermont? No. There's other stuff here from Vermont. I don't know what, but stuff. A bunch of my tools came from Vermont. Oh, I did bring all my Lego. So my kids have like a mountain of Lego to play with, which they sometimes leave all over the floor. And then I have to say, oh, clean up the Lego, you little buggers. Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff that came from Vermont, though. But yeah, a lot of stuff I left behind. AI is going to be great for makers. We'll get to a point where you can just tell an algorithm to make you a 3D model of a part with a list of specifications. Yeah, then you don't have to think at all. You don't even have to be a maker. You can just say, AI, make whatever I want. And then it'll analyze what you would want, and then it'll make it for you. And you'll be like, yay, now do whatever I want. And then it'll do whatever you want. You'll be like, yay, now what? AI, give me a challenge. Give me something to do. Oh, people are pushing so hard for this AI to replace us. Oh, you're gonna get what you ask for. Be careful what you ask for, because you're probably gonna get it. I can see how this would go bad, because you would end up with no real 3D modeling skills, and without your AI, you are useless. That's one of the problems. However, if you make an effort to know how to 3D model, your capabilities are expanded tenfold, because the time to produce results is massively reduced. Yeah, I am not with you on this at all, man. I mean, maybe it'll all work out great, and like, you know, when AI is taking care of us, all the people in the world will start making amazing art and doing amazing things with no incentive whatsoever, which has never worked in the history of humankind. But maybe that'll just work now. You know, people who are just being coddled and taken care of, maybe they will just grow up with all these amazing ideas. Even though I was talking about this at the beginning. I don't need to get into it again. Question. Oh, I don't mind the spam. Question. What things you have learned from living in a rainforest? What things have you learned? What have I learned living in a rainforest? I've learned that living in a rainforest is really not that much different than living anywhere else. That's probably the biggest thing I've learned. And that's the same thing I've learned by living in all the different places I've lived, and by visiting all the different places I've lived. The thing I've learned most is that they're really not that much different. Like, obviously there are differences. Like, there's no winter here. So when I lived in Vermont, you know, there was cold, there was freezing, and that was a whole experience. You know, when you feel that first chill of autumn, when it first gets cold, and it's just like, ooh, it's like this little bit of panic that in my old brain, my ancient brain, just says, ooh, it's going to be cold for months. I better be ready for this. You know, that's something you just don't experience in the tropics. But like, everywhere has its own little experiences. But overall, living everywhere that I've been is pretty much the same. You know, you're breathing air, you got to eat, you got to poop, you got to sleep. You don't want to be too hot or too cold or too wet. And, you know, there are different ways to deal with different things, but it's all basically the same stuff, you know. And yeah, probably the biggest thing I learned from traveling was that traveling isn't a big deal. Yeah, it's all the same. I mean, it's not all the same, but it's kind of all the same. Let's see. Sorry, I gotta run. See you next week. See you next week, Tomatoes. Good to have you here. Actually, one thing I learned from living in the rainforest is not nearly, did I say this? I don't know if I said this. It's not nearly as scary as it was kind of like, as I was always told it was when I was growing up, you know. Oh my God, the rainforest is full of poisonous things that'll kill you, and monstrous cats that will bite your head, and you'll die everywhere all the time. Whatever. There are things that'll kill you anywhere, and whatever. Ooh, TDH says, I love Katuk. Ooh, dude, you should come visit, because I have a lot of Katuk. Do you have like good Katuk recipes or something? I kind of put a little bit in like everything I cook, you know. Check out also Okinawan spinach and Egyptian spinach. There's so many tropical greens you can grow. Also, moringa trees. I have a moringa tree. It is not looking that good. It's having difficulty in my soil, but I'm trying to keep it alive. I'm trying to keep it going. So we'll see how it goes. Hold on. There's a bug over here. I got to smush. Okay. Okay, about neem. Hold on. There's a couple ants over here. I don't know. They found something they like. I'll have to squish them after I get off this. Okay. Neem, incredible medicine for tissue. You can chew the branches, excellent for gums. You can make oils that deter aphids. Definitely research neem. Thanks for the answer about leafy greens. Okay, neem. I'm gonna look it up. I can chew on it and it's good for my gums. Take your potatoes to wieners. Mr. Landfill says, buffering. How much of your diet is fish? Not enough of my diet is fish. Okay, so the way I think about this is like when I was in Vermont, like the first time I went off grid, it basically took me roughly 5 years to get to the point where I was like living, not just trying to set up the place, you know? Like it was about 5 years from when I started till I got to the point where I was like, there's nothing pressing I need to deal with. Like my list, I've gone through like my whole priority list, and now I've got like chill and do stuff that I want to do. And here I figure I've got maybe 2.5 years-ish before I get to the point where I'm like, ooh, my house is like basically taken care of, it's done. You know, believe it or not, I don't consider my house finished. And you know, I've got all the landscaping that I want to do taken care of, and you know, all this stuff. Because right now it's just like sun up to sundown. I've got stuff to do. If I go fishing, it's like fishing of opportunity. Like if I'm in a place and like sometimes I'll just jump in the water with a spear and see if I can get something for half an hour and then jump out and whatever. But yeah, in about 2.5 years, I figure I'll have things like really set up to the point where I can just like live and like do things. And then I'm gonna fish a lot more, definitely. I do fish sometimes now, but yeah, I definitely plan to more in the future. Did we lose you? You did. Jaimie down, Jaimie down. Oops, he is back. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Because yeah, I radioed headquarters and they're like, what? The internet's totally on. And I went and looked at my thing. All my lights were on and everything. I don't know. But then like a minute later, it turned back on. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Technology is weird. You're not even allowed to know what happened. What time is it? Let's see. Oh, what did I miss? Do you have crab lobster traps out? Oh, fish, crab, lobster traps out. I do have a fish trap out. It's over at Deshana's house, though. I just left it there, and she gets fish. I'll make one for here too at some point. Yeah, I just have it's on my list of stuff to do. Hi there, Jaimie. Just connected. Regards, Richard in the UK. I know who you are, Quadrant. How's it going, man? Wendy says, if anyone can optimize the internet to show their boat race live, it would be Larry Ellison. I have no idea what you're talking about. Cool. Dr. Mr. Black says, AI parent for me. AI live for me. Man. Question, how long do you wish to live to? Do you think about your morality? Or are you trying to say mortality? Would you download your mind into a computer to keep living? I don't know. You know, it's something I thought about more when I was a kid, but eventually I just thought like there's not really any point. That doesn't really go anywhere thinking about that stuff. At some point, I am going to cease to exist, and everything I've ever known will cease to exist. Like that's just an inevitability. Right now, I'm alive. Let me do the best I can. That's kind of what I think. And one day I'm going to die. It could be today. Trying not to die today, but you know, I don't know. Even if I download myself into an AI, it's no guarantee I'm going to keep living forever or something. Like all kinds of, I mean, something can always happen to kill you. So I don't know. I guess the way I think about it is as long as I'm alive, do my best. But yeah, I might download myself into or upload myself into a computer. Might be cool. I don't know. But it's not something I'm like, I really feel strongly about, Mechanical engineering before and after CAD. Okay, mechanical engineering before and after CAD is not going to be the same as mechanical engineering now and after AI takes over. Because mechanical engineering after CAD, it basically made it so you could take the pictures in your head and put it on a computer and then tell a machine to do it. That definitely made a huge difference, but the difference between doing anything and doing nothing, which is what you'll be doing when AI is doing it all, that is a way bigger difference. That's sort of like saying, well, everyone stares at their phone now. It's no different than when everyone stared at the newspaper. People got their newspaper and they'd sit there on the subway staring at it. It's exactly the same as people staring at their phone. No, it's not. There's a big difference. One was a leap, another one was a much bigger leap. But even if it's not a bigger leap, it's still a significant, anyway. I don't know. We're all going to find out eventually anyway. What methods do you fish by? Take a line and throw it out behind the boat, and it's just wrapped around something. I just leave it back there and, maybe tug on it a little bit. And then when I feel something pull, I'm like, oh, pull it in, and pull it into the boat. Throw the fish into a bucket or something. Or another method is, I was just thinking my fishing thing is on the boat. I'm not going to run all the way out there and grab it. What do I have? Basically, it's not shaped like a bowl, but it's kind of like a thing like this that I just have fishing line wrapped around and around and around. So if I'm not driving in a boat though, I'll take a bunch of the line off and have my bait and a weight on the end and just swing it around and throw it and, maybe leave it there, maybe reel it in, see if I can catch something. My favorite way to fish is with a spear, and a spear gun is nice, but it's a pain in the butt to, reload and everything in the water. My favorite so far is a pole spear, which is basically, I don't have anything here. It's like a long spear. The one I made a video of it a little while ago. The one I made is like, I don't know, maybe 8 feet long. It's definitely taller than me and has a big rubber band attached to the back. And you put your hand in the rubber band and you pull it up on the spear and then you grab the spear. So while you're holding the spear, the rubber band is stretched all the way to the back of the spear. And then, you aim it like this and you let it go and the rubber band's attached to your hand. So it just, the spear shoots out and hopefully hits a fish. And the nice thing about that is there's not a string you have to worry about. You don't have long range with it. You only have as long range as the spear is because you don't want to let go of the rubber band because then if you hit a fish, you could swim away with your spear. So you always want to keep a hold of it. But it has a good enough range. Weir, traps, free dive, spear, line. Yeah, I always just free dive with my spear. What are some of the most rewarding aspects of living in such a remote and natural environment? Most rewarding aspects, man, that's a big question. I love it when people ask these big questions, like toward the end of when I need to get off and go make dinner. Okay. The most rewarding aspects of living in such a remote and natural environment. Well, fresh air. Like fresh air is something that people who have it often take for granted, and people who don't have it don't realize how nice it is to have fresh air. Like just fresh, clean air. Like we take it for granted and people are destroying it, thinking, whatever, it's just air. No, air is important, man. Having fresh air is so nice. And when you live in fresh air and you go to a city, that's when you really notice how terrible we're making the air in a lot of places. Another thing about it's not specifically about being remote, but it is a consequence of that. Is just that I'm reliant on myself and whatever I have here to do whatever I want to do. So, for example, when I had this, I found this. I didn't just find it, but I had this rusty axe head outside, right? And I'm like, oh, I want to turn that into an axe. No, because I'm in a remote place, it's not like I can just go down to the hardware store down the street and say, hey, here's this axe head. Can you give me a handle for it? Or, can you give me something that can, dissolve the rust or whatever? No, I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out here. What do I have here? And just having all the stuff here to fix up the axe head, and then like take a branch off a tree and carve it into the shape, just with stuff I have here and my own energy and my own body and my tools and the energy I can harvest here from the sun and everything. It's just really awesome to spend a morning doing that. It was so fun just making that axe, and just doing it without having to go anywhere and not relying on anything. It's relaxing it's relaxing in a profound way to be self-sufficient in that way. And I hope I get to the point where I'm like totally self-sufficient and I never need to go anywhere. It doesn't mean I won't ever go anywhere. It just means I won't have to, like right now, I have to go get food. I mean, I wouldn't starve to death if I couldn't get food, but like I basically have to go get food now. But it'll be nice that at some point I won't have to go anywhere for anything. If I want to go somewhere, it'll be because I want to. But yeah, it's really nice being self-sufficient. It's very rewarding. It's a really good feeling. And being in nature is just really cool. Like you see all kinds of things. Like when you live in a city, everything is always the same. Like you always know what you're going to see when you go outside. But like when you're living in nature, I'm surrounded by all this natural stuff. Sure, my house, I know what I'm going to see when I'm in my house. But as soon as I step outside, like I don't know what animals are going to be there, what crazy weather, what plants came up last week that in some part of my yard where I wasn't paying attention, where, oh, suddenly there's some pineapples. Awesome. The other day, there was some kind of big falcon or eagle thing, like some big bird of prey that swooped in and landed on a tree just like right in front of my house. And it was a big, beautiful bird. And it's just really cool seeing stuff like that. And then I always see dolphins and stuff. It's really cool actually seeing dolphins jump up in the air and do flips, just because they feel like it. That's really cool. All right, it's good to know you, Jaimie, and to have followed your journey so far. Well, thanks, Quadrant. Wendy, mind download is Elon Musk's Neuralink territory. Very interesting stuff. I am not digging the Neuralink. Not digging that at all. Do you still talk to that person you built the cabin for in Alaska? Why, yes, I do. Not very often, but yeah. So are you going to put a wind turbine on your big boat? No current plans to do that. Hawaiian sling is my fave. Okay, which one is the Hawaiian sling? Okay, I know what it is. Yeah. Then when I lived in the Bahamas, that's what I used. If I'm getting my spears correct, a Hawaiian sling is basically like the one I used was just a tube of PVC, and then like a surgical tubing, like giant rubber band, like tied on there really tight, some tape or whatever. I just used electrical tape and wrapped it around real tight. So basically you have a tube and then a rubber band coming out, and then you stick a spear through the tube and hold it against the rubber band. It's kind of like shoot it like a bow and arrow, just like a slingshot. I think that's the Hawaiian sling. That's what I use. That's when I first learned how to spearfish when I was in the Bahamas. My neighbor had those, and he was like, let's go, man. And that was really fun. That was an amazing winter. Winter is what it was, yeah. The heat in Florida has been brutal lately. What do you do to keep cool when it gets hot? Well, in Florida, Oh man, I can't handle Florida winters. It gets so hot there. Closer to the equator, like where I am, it doesn't have those extremes. Like it never gets hot like a Miami summer day. Oh my God. I've been in Miami in the summer before, and you're like you open the door to go outside, and it's just like the air just it's like walking into hot soup, and it just hits you, and it's just like oh, I'm so hot, and you just try to get to the car before you freaking die. Oh my God, it's crazy hot there in the summer. But here, the winter and the summer really doesn't change much, just because I'm close enough to the equator that it's almost always like 25 to 28 degrees Celsius. Like, am I getting this right? About 80 and a little bit Fahrenheit. Like if it gets to up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit here, that's considered like unusual hot weather. Or like, I think like 26 Celsius is like a rare day. No, 28 Celsius. Oh crap. 30, if it gets up to 30, that's like a super hot day. Yeah. It's usually between like 24 to 28 degrees Celsius. So it never really gets that hot. I shouldn't say never. Watch it get really hot tomorrow. The way I think about it is here, it's pretty much always comfortable in the shade. If you go out in the sun, of course, it just gets hot. But if you're in the shade, it's pretty much always good. And like inside my house is generally pretty good. Oh, COVID was glorious in our shade garden yard under the giant redwoods with the way too busy 2-lane highway next to it almost deserted. Oh, the 2-lane highway next almost deserted when COVID happened, yeah. How would you know if a mind download worked? Well, that's a funny question. Okay, so that brings up a whole philosophical question. You download your brain into a computer. Do you have to die while that's going on? And if you don't die, then you're there, you're here, and then you're there, and that's a different you. So then you can die comfortably knowing there's another you. It's not the same you, it's a different you. But then me right now is different than me 10 seconds ago because I've experienced new things. I've had cellular changes. I'm not the same person I was 10 seconds ago. And now I'm even a different person. So it's like, I don't think there's a good answer to these kind of questions. Like even, everything's always changing, you know? Like who you are is not a constant. So it makes a lot of those questions like not really answerable or maybe meaningless. Is it really you in the computer, or is an AI pretending to be you? And if an AI can pretend to be you really well, maybe that's almost as good. Yeah. Mainly the forests near the highway survived the horrible fires a few years back that took out some of California's best forests here in the Bay Area. So many burned out home sites here now. Ah, that's crazy. Do you have a Discord server? I do not have Discord. I don't really entirely know what Discord is. I have not been keeping up with the technological world. Yeah, thick air, Trey. That's what I'm talking about. Like a Miami summer is just like the air is like thick. It's like walking into moisture. You know, it's like walking into hot water. Oh God, it's horrible. Hey, Jaimie, watching your experience for about the last 13 years, enjoying it a lot. Keep it up. Greetings from Germany. Well, hello to Germany, Mojo. I like your name. Do you grow avocados at your place? Not yet. Avocado trees are known for taking a long time to start fruiting. I do. You want to see my avocado trees? I'm going to get off this in a minute. Anyway, so let me just go out and show you my avocado trees. And I'm sure my fire went out where I was cooking. All right. This is one of my avocado trees right here. It's a little taller than me. Maybe, yeah, it's a little taller than me. And then right up here is another one. These two trees are both looking really, really good. So hopefully in a few years I'll get avocados. Oh, I was talking earlier about plantains. These here are white plantains. different than the yellow ones. They're smaller, more potato-y tasting. They should be ready pretty soon. And I'm gonna go back inside. I need to finish cooking dinner in a minute. Let's see. Let's see. Would you need to upload, then keep it updated? Oh, you mean if you uploaded your brain? Yeah, you have to keep it updated on who you are. I think once you upload your brain into an AI, it's its own thing. Discord is worth checking out. I could show you one day. Why do I want Discord? I don't know. I'll have to see about that. Think chat room that has voice. Cool. All right. I think I'm down to the bottom here, and I'm gonna, it's 22.5 degrees here in my room. Oh my gosh, 22 degrees sounds amazing. Occasionally it'll get down to like 23 degrees here, and it's like, oh, so nice. Because like, it doesn't get that hot here. However, I was kind of built for the cold. Like when I grew up in Canada, and I was always out in the winter with shorts and no shirt. Like I was always very comfortable in the cold, and I could, play in the snow just with no clothes on. I mean, I wore some clothes. I wear like my shorts and stuff. But and I used to always go running out in the cold, just in my shorts and my running shoes and nothing else. And it would be like, -20 out, -30, and I was always comfortable in the cold. Partly because I was always exercising, so I was always hot. So I loved the cold. So it is warmer here than I would like, but that's kind of a specific me thing, because I'm always being active. If I just chill out for a day or two, then I'm not really hot anymore. But generally speaking, I'm like always hot. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Made it to the end. Read, cook. How's it going, man? Oh yeah, Jaimie. You are proof the different lifestyles we have chosen is not crazy, like we are so often told it is. Well, that's the funny thing, is like, there's no one way to live that's the right way. I mean, I don't even think, my way of living is the right way. It's just a way of living. Although, if you looked at it from a certain perspective, I would say it's the right way of living. Because like the way I'm living in a way that makes sense for me, not doing what other people told me. I'm just doing what makes sense for me. So in that way, I would say everyone should be doing that. But the specific things that I do, I don't think are like universal or anything. Anyway, enjoy your night. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great evening, Trey, and everyone else. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good time. And if you're not, keep fighting through. And do your best, regardless of what the circumstances are throwing at you. All right, I'm gonna go make some food. All right, stop streaming.